And last but not least, you want your corn knee-high by July? Better get to plant, boys.
I make my living off the land.
This corn's beautiful.
With aching back and calloused hand.
A lot of things got to go right yet.
The old man said you reap what you sow.
This could be some pretty phenomenal numbers.
Out here in these fields of gold.
Why it's called yellow gold.
I work harder, work harder. I get the job done, yeah, I'm a farmer. I don't back down no matter what comes my way.
Crazy year, right?
I'm an early riser, an all-nighter. Call me plowboy, yeah, I'm a fighter. Ain't gonna stop till they put me in my grave.
It's gonna be a fun year.
I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior.
This episode of Corn Warriors is presented by Pivot Bio.
I'm Jake Drozd up here in Allegan, Michigan. Farming with my brother and my dad. All together we grow about 7,000 acres of corn, soybeans, and a little bit of milo. I am 29. Yeah, so Ryan's 24. And probably the best thing about the farm, you have all this family around you, I guess. We would not be here if it wasn't for my grandma and grandpa. And, grandma's still here. She works for the seed company next door, Drozd Seeds over there. It's my uncle and my cousin and her. I'd say the harvesting's probably the most fun. The planting's probably the most stressful because you only get one chance to do this thing. And if you screw it up there, you're done for the rest of the year. So that's what sucks about planting. You're gonna have a lot more failures than you are successes. So I guess that kind of makes you who you are too.
Working with my brother is pretty cool. It's, I don't know, not to be corny about it, but a different adventure every day, I guess. But we both have the same goals, so I think that's what really helps us get along, is that we both have the same mindset.
I'm John Drozd. I've been farming since 1977 when I graduated from high school. Added a little ground here and there as we went along. Farmed with my brother. Now I farm with my two sons, Jake and Ryan. I've been in this location my whole life, so I've been here forever. Growing crops, it definitely has its challenges. We don't have the growing season like they do in other areas. We don't have the warm up in the spring is always an issue. Our advantages is our summers are usually pretty nice. We don't get as hot. And our falls are very, very nice. But other than that, you kind of wonder why you're here. Today it's a rain out. I hope it's not a repeat of 2019 and 2018, but so far we've had a fair bit of rain just lately, so it's kind of starting to put our planting behind a little. So we're hoping that it quits raining, we get some sunshine, and we can get back at it in a couple of days. But today it's a rain out.
Let's do it.
It's gonna be like 5 minutes. Take your sock off.
That could be I thought you knew it. Welcome to Michigan.
We have not been in mud this time.
You better tie them on. You're not moving if you don't tie them on.
Yeah, for real.
It's 2019 bat.
Oh man, it's a mess, and I can't see. Well, we just threw some Pivot Bio in the planter here. Get ready for tomorrow or the next day, hopefully. Decided David Hula uses it. He does pretty good, I guess, so we might as well throw some in too. It's magic juice. Did you get the David Hula comment? Make sure you get that to him. All right, so what we did here, we tried something new. We planted a 79-day corn, hoping to pick it the first week of September, and we're gonna put cover crop behind it. We can't pull a David Hula, we can't plant corn on top of corn. We don't have a long enough season. But we're gonna dig up some seed here, see how our depth was and see how close it is. 56 GDUs here right now. It's growing degree units. So it's this was planted May 4th, if I remember correctly. So it's been in the ground for a while. We're gonna dig them up and see what the little guys look like. Like I said, it's a 79-day corn. We only had a few bags, so we loaded her up with a few new seed treatments. See what it could do. It's so sandy out here, we try to at least up the sulfur. So we put a little sulfur out here. We just put a mix of 10-34-0 and I think it was 32%. It's a dry land field. I mean, it's not a higher producing field, but like I said, it was a good size to try something new and see what I guess if we can make it work. One day of sun and it'll be out of the ground, but right now this ground's so sandy. I think the CEC on this ground's about 3. So, I mean, yeah, I mean it'll take all this water. It's not like the last field we were at where it's just ponding. I think we should.
This year's been a challenging year for farming and a lot of major rainfall events. We were about a month behind on planting. We made it through that, and then it rained a whole bunch more on top of that. We had significant nitrogen losses this year, probably more so than we've ever seen in the past. We saw greater than a 30 bushel per acre response with the Pivot Bio Proven product. It really showed up this year.
Pivot Bio Proven, the nitrogen that stays put, whether or not.
My name is Eric Reed. We're here in Elor, Tennessee. Farm name's Reed Farms. 750 acres corn, 450 acres cotton, and 150 acres of beans. I graduated in '95. A guy approached me that was a cotton farmer. I worked with him for 15 years. Married into the family down here. I farmed with her dad and her brother for several years, and I wanted to do my own thing, my own way. You know, I knew there was better technology, better ways to increase my yields, better data. That was one of the best decisions I ever made. My wife owns a cotton gin. When I told her I was gonna have almost 2/3 corn, I thought, there'll be some divorce papers tomorrow. But she went on board with it. You know, cotton is my home base, but I love growing corn. Now, I've grown corn before, back in the 90s. Not on this scale. First year, I kind of tinkered around and I seen how hard it was going to be. So the second year, I tried even harder. I wasn't gaining any ground. It was just like, I never could get over that hump, that 260 mark. A good friend of mine, L.B. Hunter, won the state of Alabama the year before last in strip till, and he won it last year. Well, I called him up. I said, L.B., man, is there any way you'll help me? He said, I'll do more than help you. And he's the one that introduced me to Luke. I sat right here last January. I said, listen, we're going to do 3 things. Win Alabama, we're going to win Tennessee, and we're going to win the soybean contest. And we done all 3. And we didn't just hit the ball. We knocked the fence down. Luke Windsor's coming this morning, and we're going to go check some corn. We're going to be checking for emergence, population, spacing, depth. We're just going to make sure that everything's okay and our procedures have protected our investment. And I hope we get through the day not blowing no tires. We've blown 8 since Friday, and I just pray that we don't blow another one today. Y'all come on, let's get this 3-ring circus going. We'll just go out here and see what kind of emergence we got. Try to put cover crops on the ones that we think are gonna erode the most. And we're trying to build organic matter too. We want that microbial action. And as you can see here, you know, we 3x3 this corn. Here's our band of fertilizer right here. And here's the other band of fertilizer, right here. If you notice the roots on this corn, look where them 2 big roots are headed for. Right there. They're headed straight for that fertilizer, both of them. I had a company tell me, hey, you can't count the litter. Well, I'll tell you what, if it doesn't count to something, go put it on your yard and 2 weeks later and come back and tell me if it counts, because your yard's gonna grow up. You're gonna have to mow. That's the only way you're gonna build organic matter in our soils. Yeah. Chicken litter and this stuff right here. When I'm out in the field, I wanna see earthworms. There, go there. That right there tells you got soil health going on. That's what I want to see.
Building organic matter in this part of the world is still going to be a challenge, which is something that we experience that the upper Midwest, the glacier soils don't. But over time, the microbial activity has to be going in the soil for any form of fertility to work. Because the thing about them is they're lazy little creatures. They would rather eat what you put out in a big band than to go find it in the soil. So we try to put it down in the fall once that activity has diminished so we don't lose it. And then in the spring, we're trying to put it out up a little closer to planting so we're maximizing its activation. You take a guy like Eric that's been using litter for a lot of years, you're gonna see different responses as you test different ways of using it versus someone who's never used it.
I promise you it's gonna help.
It's gonna help. Do you work it in? Do you not work it in? All those things matter.
I guess you could call me the rookie. The show intrigued me because they were making 500 and 600 bushels, so what was my problem? Why couldn't I make 300, 350? Well, I could if I got my butt to work. Year before last, I think my yields was 185 to 190 bushels. Last year, the whole farm average was 255. From 180 to 255, that's a big leap in 1 year. I'm going to shoot for 400 this year.
If we can do it here on 7 to 10 inches of topsoil, that's a pretty good feat, and that's what we're out to do.
I don't give a damn about what this farm made per acre, what this farm made per acre. I want to know my whole farm average. That's the difference between making money and not.
One thing I promise to do with you this year is give you some answers to the best of my ability. I'm not going to try to hide it because my theory is if you can outdo me, come on. And one of the biggest things that we can tell you to work on is compaction. That is one of the biggest limiting factors people have that they don't realize or won't attempt to fix. You can feed a crop all you want, but if the ground's compacted, if it can't get its root system out there, you can't utilize water. Without water, you can't keep a nutrient in a solution, and without it in solution, you can't put it in a plant.
I'm gonna show you right here. See how easy that is? Look. Chicken litter truck. This corn will be here, this corn will be here.
It's a root restriction zone.
The whole way plumb through tassel, all the way through grain field, all the way through harvest. You'll be able to see this set of tracks, every bit of it.
We're at the holy ground. I'm not telling you guys the name because you'll find it somehow, but we're gonna go out there, we'll dig a couple seeds, just see where we're at and see how far along it's coming. It's all irrigated, so look out, Brooks. That's a good one. I'd call it the goat of corns. Greatest of all time. All right, we're digging some seed up. We just checked it, and we're at about 2-inch planting depth. And right now there's no corkscrewing or nothing, so I mean, as long as if we get sun for a day or two, I think it'll come straight up. One really has to love. Well, here in this field, we're about 2 inches deep, which we wanted to be, right around there. We're on 30-inch spacing. Probably over here, I don't know, would you plant 38?
38 here on up to 45,000.
Clean it off. Not too bad. When we planted the good ground, the 2-inch planting depth was 61. That's confirmed, but that was right as we're putting it in the ground. When it got down tonight, it was probably 51, and then at middle of the night, it was probably 40.
Personally, I think this is turning out just exactly how I anticipated it happening. We're gonna catch some rain, but we're gonna warm up as we go. So, my name is Matt Davis. So we took a little trip around, looked at a few of Drozd Family Grains fields, checked out how emergence was, how our germination was looking in emergence. As we were a little concerned that the planting window we had was kind of cold. Soil conditions were just about optimal. Soil conditions were, other than that, were cold. And we said we're gonna go hit the go button because the window was open. So we're optimistic about what we put in the ground. When we went out and dug, the one thing I wanted to see is how healthy the seedlings were looking. We had a great root system. The shoot was looking really good, almost ready to come through the ground. So really, one day of solid sun and that stuff is gonna pop through. Let's go inside, let's get out of the rain. Man, they started to get rough in there. I started working with Drozd back in 2010, so we're 10 years in. So been working with them on a lot of things. I'm excited for Jake. Jake works hard at what he does. He spends a lot of time in the fields. I think he spends a lot of time talking to a lot of people and learning a lot. The hard part about taking soil temperature here is that from day to night, it can change drastically in this field. We've checked it many times, morning to night. And first thing I always, of course it's wet right now, but one of the first things I do when I walk into a field, it's one of the reasons I carry a shovel, is if I can just shove that shovel right in the ground, all the way down. And so that's a beautiful environment for a seed. So started in a good spot.
So when we dumped in that pivot bio, we were at our power line field, and what we were talking about more was we were talking about the soil temperature. Yeah. And we have 2 smart firmers on the planter, and you can see here that if we go to these maps here on the field view cab, it will show us how the temperature laid out on those passes that we did plant there last week.
Yeah, you can see a lot of the time we're planting in mid 40s to just touching 50s on soil temperature. That kind of reaffirms that our soil temperatures here and even in the middle of May are rather cold, and it kind of stays consistent throughout the field.
Here we're moving on to our singulation page, which I just scrolled down here, hit singulation, and here it seems to be my singulation was quite good. Wherever it was bad, I mean, it could just be you're gonna have a multiple here, a skip here or there. If you're perfect, that's great, but I like to have my singulation between 99.8 and 100. Anything below that, it's I'm a little nervous at times. So the one field we should really check out here is our field of Shank 1. And if I wouldn't have had my iPad hooked into the tractor cab with the field view, I never would have caught this problem. I forgot to reset my modules after dinner, and I had looks to be about half the planter decided to run off of one setting for downforce. And the only way I could tell is never had a warning or anything until I plugged the iPad in and saw it on the map. That's the only way I remembered. So that's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, I do a lot of welding around here. Seems like we have a lot of repairs. All right, just making a pivot stop extension here. Piles dirt up by the stop, and then it jumps over the stop. So I'm gonna make an extension so that it stops a little longer when it builds dirt up. So we do our fair share, that's for sure.
Okay, we're gonna build a Y drop. So I already built the bottom part. I shouldn't say build it, I just kind of assembled the rest of it. Now we're gonna put the bar in, gonna clip that in. You're gonna move the guard down. I can assemble one drop probably, you can probably do it in 10 minutes or less. So it's not too bad. And I'm probably doing it slow. So I'm sure there's somebody who can do it way faster than me. So now that we're done with this one, we're gonna hand it off to Ryan. Ryan can go over there and put it on the bar. I'll get set to build another one here. Really what we're doing, we got these Y drops here to, instead of putting on one 60-gallon an acre app, we're hoping to do 2 30s on some irrigated fields and maybe get a little nitrogen efficiency out of the corn that way. Some places it won't work for us just because of boom length and whatnot, but for the most part, all our good irrigated corn will get 2 or 3 shots of nitrogen, or could be potassium, sulfur, whatever it is we want to put down. Anywhere from 10 to 65, 70 gallons, hopefully, or hoping to not pick up speed, just efficiency.
The virus here in Michigan has been really tough because there's a lockdown. It's hard to get a lot of things accomplished. You need a part from the auto parts store. You can't go in and get it. You gotta call them and have them set it up by the door. So it's hard to get a lot of things done, but it's hopefully gonna free up soon and let us get a little back to normal.
These people call once a week asking if there's anything that I need or that they can do for me. These people will back this product up 100%. And this product will yield year in and year out. It'll make corn, and it's a winner too. Another thing I like about this corn is it's a round. The seed's round. I put seed in my planter, and my planter went plumb out in left field from where I had it set. Went to skipping and doubling. Well, if you think about it, your seed disc in your planter have got a round hole in it. Well, you've heard the old saying, a square peg won't fit in a round hole. Well, that seed's a flat seed. My planter will singulate this seed right here absolutely perfect.
Tell me what just happened.
Tire just blew out on the Reed transport trailer that was transporting their fertilizer, liquid fertilizer. So I'm gonna go check on them.
And I hope we get through the day, not blow no tires.
You know we fixed the other flat?
Yeah.
I believe we kind of jammed this one because the arm is stuck up.
Hang on, here it's going.
That ain't good. Yeah.
Hey.
We're gonna need another jack.
Is it the front axle?
No, it's the back axle.
We changed?
Other side.
Well, listen, the air jack is on the back of that truck.
Okay, all right, that works.
Listen to me. Shut up and listen. We got everything up?
Did we get the jack up there?
Yeah, I got the jack, baby. Kevin Cobb, come down here and farm with me. I love you, brother. Note to self. When filling up CCS hoppers, make sure trap door is closed, or you'll lose $6,000 worth of seed in about 300 yards. It's just gonna be a tough year all the way around. We're gonna have to make the most bushels that we can on less acres. And it's hard to do because we already know that we're probably gonna lose money. I got a family dependent upon me too, so I've got to keep going. But we just try our best to make sure that we nurture this corn. This has been one of those years to where it's been so depressing, you know, before all the COVID-19 or whatever, that you really don't even want to put a crop in. I've always heard all my life about the Great Depression. And I always told myself, you know what? I'll never get to witness nothing like that absolutely shuts the world down. I was wrong. We haven't even began to see the ripple effect that this is going to have.